As we told you earlier in this broadcast, a group of local elected officials from the Tri-County area, they want to reopen the economy, and they have sent a plan to the governor to get people back to work starting next week at the start of May. One of those, East Peoria Mayor John Call, and he joins us right now. Thank you so much, Mayor, for being on the call with us here. For those who want to see the full plan, we have your letter that you wrote to the governor. That's on our website, ciproud.com. But it calls for 3 phases. What went into developing this plan?
Well, quite honestly, here in the city of East Peoria, we started working on what it would look like when we come out of this thing. And, you know, there's at the local level, and the governor understands this, you know, we had a personal conversation last week. It was a respectful two-way conversation. We're not in agreement on everything, but that's understandable. You know, these are new times for everybody. But I let him know that here at the city of East Peoria, we started drafting a plan that would be in phases. And of course, you know, relying on information that, I mean, you see about everywhere else. So he asked if I could send a copy of that plan to him, which I did a week ago this evening. And I told him on the phone that I thought that the plan wasn't really specific to East Peoria. It's something that could be catered and tailored to the region. I think it's applicable to not just East Peoria, but everybody around here. So he said he'd be most interested in getting that plan. Well, then as things have evolved, you know, Thursday he came out and basically announced that he really had no interest in opening any specific region in the state. He was more apt to implement some type of plan statewide, not just by region. So that prompted a bunch of elected officials to have subsequent conversations that began last Friday, and through the weekend things evolved and more people jumped on board, and that's what kick-started sending the letter and kind of revising the plan so it caters to the Tri-County region. And then obviously elected officials in Fulton County expressed interest in getting on board with it. So that's what prompted everything.
Do you, at this point, I know the governor said today that he has seen the letter, and he said that he appreciates the recommendations and that he'll consider that as he goes into his plans that will be made to reopen the economy. But do you think that the governor is actually taking your plan and the plans here of local leaders into account?
Boy, I certainly hope so. You know, I mean, just like anything else, as we've navigated through, you know, new territory, if you will, we've, at least here in East Peoria, and our council's been unanimous in its support. Everyone's been on a single page. We can't just turn a deaf ear to those that we represent at the local level. And I expressed that to the governor on the phone last week. I've reiterated it through my letter and correspondence this week. And quite honestly, I sure hope that he understands and he's willing to listen and willing to work with us. When you read the plan, and you know, the first paragraph says it all. I mean, things are subject to change, no different than the timelines or anything that may or may not be included in the plan. But you know, I'm sure every county's having discussions at the county level, no different than officials at the local level. So I think it's important that everybody gets on the same page. And I would like to think that the governor would be willing to work with us on this.
And speaking of same page, one of the final questions that I have time for here, I know Peoria Mayor Jim Artis said that he wouldn't sign it. He appreciated the effort, but he had some questions. One of those was whether or not that the other local leaders had spoken to local health officials. Were they brought in the developing of this plan?
Here's what I'll tell you. I can't speak to what Mayor Artis says or, you know, what's going through his mind. You know, we have two differences of opinion, and that's fine. You know, I made it clear to him, I'll respect anyone that doesn't agree with our approach. But at the end of the day, we can't just turn a deaf ear to those that we represent. Speaking on the Tazewell County side, our health department's been great, and I'm sure Peoria is no different. Woodford County's probably no different. But our health department, we've been on conference calls twice a week, And so we're in very close contact with them. And if you see some of the names on that letter, it does include the county board chairman. So you know, the plan all along is to work closely with all the entities, get us all on a single page, and get things back to where they're back on track. I mean, you know, I know the virus doesn't have a border, recognize a border, but it also doesn't have a deadline. And so I don't see where anyone's in a position to sit idly for the next another 30 days. It's just we've got to get things moving.
All right, Mayor Call, we're running out of time here, but thank you so much for taking this time. Again, people can see that three-phase project on our website, CI Proud. We'll be right back. Thank you again.
Thank you.